Welcome to the Safe Space Podcast, where we get comfortable having the uncomfortable conversations.
And talk a little mess. We are your host, Cee J.
And I'm Manda.
How was your week, friend?
A blur. It was the longest short week ever.
That's true. That's true.
We have Monday off. It's a long weekend, so I'm excited about that.
I don't have Monday off.
Oh, sorry. No worries. I'll call you. It'll be fine. We won't. We'll stay in the norm.
Anything eventful happened for you this week?
Nothing that I can talk about on the podcast.
Okay. Well, my house was a poopy mess. As you know, my kids all were sick with the 24-hour stomach virus. So it started with the middle one, and the older one got it, and the baby got it last. So they are all recouping from being a poopy mess.
I'm so glad that they are all recouping.
But other than that, it was good.
My good friend who won't tell me that she loves me, but she sends me poopy pictures.
It's your godson. You need to see the puddles of poop that I saw.
And I love him, but I didn't buy into that part. I just want to do the fun stuff. Let me buy stuff, spoil him, and that's it.
That's not how this works.
Of course it is. It's like a younger version of a grandparent.
No, that's not how it works.
I'm only here for the fun stuff.
What's the rule that we have? You send me crazy stuff all the time, and if you see it, then I gotta see it. So if I had to witness, all right, guys, for perspective, this baby had the craziest blowout ever, and he had puddles of poop in his onesie, like a footed onesie. I had to gather up all of the wipes that I could find, wipe them down as much as I could, and stick them right in the bath.
Poor baby.
Without getting poop all over myself. So if I had to be there physically to witness and smell it, you could handle a picture.
Oh God, not the tell us you're a parent without telling us you're a parent. Our conversation starts off with poop.
Yes.
Awesome.
I don't even think I gave you a warning before I
you
took
didn't.
the picture. I think I just
you didn't. I was like, oh, Mason mail, and yeah, thanks, appreciate you.
Mason poopy mail.
I love it. Okay.
So, for our mess in the news this week, or wait, hold on. I'm jumping ahead, y'all. We need to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac and all of the shenanigans that they have going on.
I'm confused. I'm genuinely confused.
So was everybody else at Karen's multi-show that she had going on.
I want to talk about it, but I don't even know how to talk about it because I'm just so daggone confused.
All right. So the Sunday before last was the episode where Karen had her variety show where everyone else was doing things except for her.
Right.
Ashley was speaking with Deborah, and good old Deborah was trying to say that Chris and Eddie were flirting with her, although there is footage that Chris was not. He was not even looking at that lady.
Deborah is the one that looks like the Muppet, a Sesame Street character, correct?
That's what Candace calls her.
Allegedly. per Candace.
Per Candace. Yes. She looks like a Muppet.
She may or may not have a point, but
yes. So
I don't have Candace's money, and I'm not trying to get sued. So
the intro of the show comes on with Ashley talking about her PYTs, and Deborah is one of the PYTs. And Deborah comes in the house, and she's talking about or recapping the fact that Chris looked at her and was being flirty with her. And then good old Bravo, they pan right to the episode.
Shout out to Bravo for actually presenting those receipts. I appreciate them for doing that.
I can, because if you're saying my husband's looking at you, I need to see it.
Right.
But Chris was like, when he was talking to her and introducing himself, he wasn't even looking at her.
I was about to say, when he looking at his phone.
Right. And then what did she call Eddie?
Smiley Eddie.
And it's like, that's being friendly. No one's trying to talk to you.
Ma'am, I need them to stop trying to make Deborah a thing, because she's not relevant to the show. Stop trying to create a storyline. She's not anything for anybody to be pining after, let alone all of their husbands to be pining after. Let's move on. Bring a scholar back. Can we get a scholar back? At least we got some good looks
Send
with
her
a
a DM.
scholar. Please.
So
if this should happen to reach anyone, not saying that all of you aren't important, but anybody at the Bravo
don't be running
people,
our listeners away.
right? I love y'all,
With your
all of y'all. No, that's not what I mean. Anybody in the house of Bravo, cousin Andy, can we please get a scholar back, please and thank
We're gonna
you.
tag them when we post the video.
We need to start a petition.
Can we take a moment for a second? Y'all are seeing us like live and in color. Like, this is the thing.
Wait, don't look at the camera. This is natural. I'm looking at you.
You can't use our off-scene banter to like throw it back at me while we're in the moment. But here
That's
we are.
exactly
We've
what I can
graduated
do.
to YouTube and being on camera. Look at us.
I don't know if this is gonna be a good thing for me or not. I make
Why?
too many faces, and
But that kind of connects it instead of just hearing it through audio.
sometimes I don't need everybody to connect. I don't always know how to behave.
Okay, well, we'll let that sit there. Back to Potomac we go. So in that episode, it then fast forwards to Giselle having lunch with Ashley and her PYTs.
Gross. Sorry.
And them kind of going back over, and Ashley saying that she wasn't sure if she wanted to tell Wendy about what Deborah said about Eddie because they're friends, so on and so forth.
Right.
I don't even know that I would bring that information back to anybody. Like, you said my husband was smiling at you. Really?
It was so useless. And I applaud Dr. Wendy for how she handled it. Zen Win. She finally channeled Zen Win and laughed and moved on.
I think they both did because it's ridiculous. It's very. I feel like they needed an episode filler because
pretty much because
I think the rest of that episode consisted of Karen and her variety show that nobody had a clue as to what was going on. And at that show, Ashley brought Deborah comes back around. Ashley brought Deborah to the variety show and attempted to get Candace to talk to her, and Candace quickly shut her down and said no thank you.
And I have a love-hate relationship with Candace. I must say I rocked with her the whole way on this episode.
I really like Candace. I think I really like her. I think in this episode she really stood up for herself though, and like I'm not like what are we talking about? Right.
Well, back in the day I'm a Team Monique fan, so I can't fully love Candace. She's grown on me at times, but I still can't let that go.
Is Monique on what is that show?
Love and Marriage.
Yes.
It's supposed to be Love and Marriage DC,
yes.
But they have left the show this season. They're not on the show this season.
Have you ever watched it?
I watched maybe the first couple episodes of the first season and I fell off.
Okay, I've never watched it.
But I think like Quicksilver and his wife and some other.
Those are the only two that I know like, from the show outside of Monique and her husband being on the show. But I didn't realize that they did not do season 2.
So look, random question, and maybe the audience can chime in on it too. I have a hard time, I think, watching or getting into like the Love and Marriage DC because I think we are too close to those people. Like I can't take Quicksilver seriously. I just can't. It's like it's just Quicksilver. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like, and then the lifestyle that these people I guess are trying to portray, because I guess it's supposed to be parallel to your Real Housewife type.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, and what is the basis of the show?
Right. Like
because you watched Huntsville, correct? Or you did?
I did. I haven't. I'm not as caught up. Like this last season, I didn't watch it at all. But they try to. Not saying they try to portray, but I guess it's supposed to be fabulous and they do fabulous things. But it's like, I know that restaurant. I know the shopping center that restaurant is surrounded by. Like it's not posh.
It's not what. Yeah, it's like, not what you're making it out to be. Yeah, I've never watched either one of those. I usually stick in like the Housewives, Married to Medicine if I'm watching reality.
And I think it's easier to, because I guess when you watch, even though it's supposed to be reality TV, we know that it's not full on reality. So you watch these things though to see the fabulous fashions and where they're brunching at this week and all of that stuff. So when you know the people or it's kind of close to home, you're like, oh, I know that place. Like it's
Right.
not.
I've been there.
I'm sure people that live in like Atlanta can relate. Like when they watch the Housewives of Atlanta and stuff like that, they're like, oh, or because like I've heard where the OLG restaurant is, like it's the surrounding neighborhood is not great and it doesn't look that
Yeah.
great. So most people in Atlanta are like, they can take it or leave it.
Right. Right.
But that was just a question for the audience. Like, do you guys find it hard to relate to reality TV that's close-ish?
Close to home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think. So that ends that episode of Potomac, and then last Sunday's episode of Potomac is when they fly to Mexico for Ashley's birthday. And it looks like it went south real quick because Mia and Jacqueline apparently get into it on the plane. They didn't even leave Potomac.
One of the YouTubers that I watch that does like the recaps and stuff of the show, he was like, it sounded like the best fight on the whole episode wasn't even caught on camera.
Can you imagine being on a flight and you see two people yelling at each other about some kids?
There has got to be footage somewhere. Somebody caught it on there. Yes.
Where was Robin? Miss
Right.
Miss TMZ Robin. Where was Robin when all this was happening? So apparently the
Trying
fight
to
was
plan her wedding at the shore. Sorry.
We'll get there. I'm not there yet.
Sorry.
So apparently the fight was surrounding that Jacqueline's sister is Mia's nanny.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something to say about her being Mia's nanny?
I love how they try to make it so like, girl, your homegirl sister watching your kids. Like, cut it out. It ain't no. She's nanny.
That is
for
Mia's
me.
nanny. She pays her. That's her nanny. So Jacqueline's sister is a nanny for Mia's kids. I think Mia has 2 kids of age that need to have nannies, and
Jacqueline
there was an issue
and her
with
whole family is living off of Mia's come up.
Are you done?
Sorry.
So, Jacqueline apparently drops her kids off because that's
her
kids'
sister
aunts.
watching them kids.
Drops them off to Mia's house, and Mia apparently now has an issue with it. Although it's been going on for some time, she has an issue with it. And in order for Jacqueline to go on this trip to Mexico, her kids are according to Mia, her kids are at my house eating up all my food, is what she said. How do you feel about that? Like, that boundary of working with or having someone that you know taking care of your kids, and basically somebody else just dropping their kids off at your house just because their relative is the person that's doing a service for you.
I feel like there's several things happening here. I feel like this isn't anything new. I feel like Jacqueline has done what they have been doing for the last umpteen years. Mia said so herself. Like, I guess Jacqueline and her family took Mia in when she was young or little or whatever, and they raised her, helped take care of her and all that. I guess therefore they feel like, oh, we took care of her all this time. Now it's her turn to take care of us.
So that's what I was gonna say. Like, you know how I feel about people who, like, no one owes you anything.
Right.
Like, I don't like that.
Right. Which is fine, and I can agree with that. But I also feel like I was saying, I don't feel like this is anything new. And it's kind of where Jacqueline was coming from, or where I think that she's trying to say, like, don't act like this is new.
Or it's an issue now.
It's an issue now when these cameras are rolling, because now you trying to make me or my family look like we're all just mooching off of you. Yeah. And this is how we've always operated. But to make yourself seem more relevant or seem like you're doing more, now it's a problem. Don't do that because these cameras started rolling.
Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this one. Like, I completely get what she's saying and I get where she's coming from, but after a certain amount of time of someone constantly doing something and you constantly having to do something for someone, it gets old.
It does. And
So
I agree with
So
that.
I think it's probably, now don't get me wrong, Mia is not a saint. She got a whole lot of crap with her. But I think it may be a combination of both. Of, yes, we've been doing this for so long. That's the issue. Is that you have been bringing your kids to my house, eating up all my food, using my nanny services that I pay for your kids. It gets old. But then I can see Jacqueline's side of it of, all right, well, it gets old, yes, but have that conversation with me in private, not when
off
these
camera.
rolling.
And that, I think that's what I was trying to get to. Like, we can talk about this off camera. If we're supposed to be more than just friends, like we're a family,
We're sisters, yeah.
Don't do me like that in front of all these millions of people. We can talk about this.
So can we talk about the fight though? When they're going back and forth, and Mia tells her like stop sleeping with married men, and she responds,
Her first response,
I didn't sleep with your husband.
And everybody in the room,
wait,
like, I swear to you, I think I had the same reaction. Everybody, I'm like, did I miss something? Did she drop his name? Did she say her husband's name?
If you tell me I'm not sleeping with married men other than my own husband, if you tell me stop sleeping with married men, my response is not going to be I'm not sleeping with your husband.
That's because they fitting to tell on themselves. I think the alcohol got too much, and they forgot to draw the line between reality and TV, and what they're deciding to expose on TV and what they're not. Because I honestly feel like Mia's husband, Mia, and is it Jacqueline?
Yeah,
Jacqueline.
Yes.
I feel like
there's something there though, because
because she had to pay for that Porsche that they put that money to.
It's in her name. It's in her name.
Okay, that's great, wonderful. But them checks are not. Them payments are not coming from her bank account. On
that couch, but it's in my name. It's in my name.
Again, how many us got our names on things that we either ain't never seen, don't have possession of? How many little children run around here with electric bills in their name? Y'all know how we do. Like, cut it out.
So I think there is more to that dynamic though, because when they were in Miami, Giselle caught them in the shower together. Like, I'm not, no matter how close we are,
I love you, friend, but
we are not taking a shower together. That's not a thing.
And then she say something about like she was looking up her whole house with a flashlight or something.
Yes,
we're not doing that.
Yes,
that's weird.
I think Ashley got her a flash. Who did she get? Giselle a flashlight.
A flashlight, yes,
for like their little gifts.
That's weird.
Speaking of trips and girl trips, how many days do you have until your trip to Miami?
A long time. It's a lot of days.
Are you prepping? Are you getting yourself hyped up? Okay.
I am. I'm getting excited about this. Okay. I am.
Well,
I'm about to go get me a nip tuck so I can be Miami ready.
Okay. Mr. Producer Man husband is giving you the eye over his glasses. So I need you to get yourself together. Okay?
Listen, I got this whole itinerary. It's supposed to be it's a bachelorette weekend, so it's themed. And I need to be okay.
All right. Well, you go, girl.
How long? We got any sponsorships yet? We need some donations.
Well,
gifts. And then with you ever see the meme, Dr. Umar? He's like, I gets donations, gifts.
Dr. Umar is a class act.
I'm moving on.
Got anything else on TV?
Nope. I'm gonna stop myself before I. Oh, but yeah. Okay, so the cap off Real Housewives, and then so after Mia and Jacqueline get to fighting and boo-hooing and that whole thing, and who comforted her? Was that Wendy or Candace? Talking about, shh, it's okay, it's okay, girl. Then they go and see the shaman on the beach.
Yes.
Woo, 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 woo. And then
I'm trying to cut it real short. I forgot that Grand Dame, is that what she calls herself?
Yes.
Got real hype at the dinner table. Sorry, go ahead.
You cannot, because y'all know I loves me some Grand Dame. I'm going to be her one day when I get old. A little less delusional at time, Grand Dame. But yes, that's,
So
I'm going to grow up to be her.
they go and have their situation at the beach. They go back to their hotel and get changed for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
They go to dinner, and Karen and Charisse get into it. Not really sure where it stemmed from, but all I know is Karen Huger, if you're listening, Charisse was not talking about your mother.
She wasn't.
She was not.
I love you, Grand
All she
Dame.
said was that she attended the service for your mother. She did not say anything negative about your mother.
Keep my mother's name out your mouth.
She was getting her inner Will Smith.
Will Smith happening.
Is what she was doing. Like her jumping up from the table like that and slamming stuff down and telling her she was going to F her up. Karen, she was not talking about your mama.
She wasn't, Grand Dame. I'm sorry. But in her defense, she does not like Charisse. And stop trying to make it a thing. Stop trying to push that woman on her. Just leave it alone. Just leave it be. She doesn't like her for whatever reason, and that's it, and that's all. Giselle and them need to stop trying to force that lady.
Yes, in
on the Grand
real
Dame.
world, yeah. That would be how adults should handle it. If I don't like you, I'm not going to surround myself with you. But you signed up for Bravo Reality TV. So here we are.
But she was fine with, she can be in her presence. She just acts like she's not there. And just leave it at that. Like Giselle
Who
and them
started
kept
that conversation.
Giselle. I believe it was Giselle, because they keep trying to get to the bottom of what this disdain is for her. Like, just let it go.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Just like Giselle, you don't want nobody trying to push Monique or anybody else on you anymore.
Monique is not thinking about any of them.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'll speak for her and say that she's not thinking about any
And
of them.
that's fine.
So yes, I'm very, very interested. I don't like these previews that they're doing, this old timey preview thing. They can stop that now.
Well, that's because they need to draw people in for the next week, because like I don't even think they realize what's going on.
So I am interested though to see how the rest of that plays out, because both of them were out of their seats.
Them
Grand
old
Dame was
birds
yelling, and I'm interested to see how that plays out in the rest of the season. So
yeah, let's
you
not
watch Potomac. Keep watching so that you can hear us talk about it, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. So sliding right in, since I was trying to jump ahead earlier, sliding right into our mess in the news. Let me bring it up. So if y'all remember episode 4, we ended off, what did you call it? Old baby daddies
and ghetto twins.
We stopped having a conversation about Nick Cannon and his tribe, as I called it. So apparently Mariah Carey is allegedly filing for primary custody of her twin.
Is that still alleged? It's
Rock
not
and
been
roll.
confirmed.
This article from Essence that I'm reading says alleged. So
Okay,
I'm gonna
we'll
say
go with alleged then. All right.
So she's filing for primary custody of the twins, considering that Nick Cannon has 12 kids, 6 baby mamas. You have a whole grid that you're gonna go over. I don't know that I blame her. Like she's saying that he needs to spend, she has the kids primarily, and that he needs to spend more time with the kids, which if you got 12 kids and they're all spread across creation, I can see how that can be an issue. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I guess let's get to the nitty gritty of what filing for primary custody means. So I don't think that it's necessarily that she's trying to like take the kids away from him or anything like that. It's, legally, like if decisions need to be made where the children need to go to school, medically, it'll be in her control, because clearly he has a lot on his plate.
But I would think that's how it is now. Like if he is not there, she's making those decisions anyways. I would say she probably is just trying to get it on paper.
Which makes sense. It makes sense, because we're not saying that Monroe and Moroccan have,
Rock and roll.
yeah, have the, but then you have that kind of like that Dwayne Wade situation where their custody agreement worked all these years, but now the child wants to become a girl and he needs the other parent to sign off on it, and she's like, no. So it's like, you haven't been here for whatever reason, and I know there's a whole lot of backstory on that too, but it's like, for whatever reason you haven't been here or been concerned or made decisions for him / her all this time.
Amanda.
What? I'm sorry. I get nervous about how to address and what to.
Zaya is a girl.
Okay. So you haven't been making decisions for Zaya all this time. I'll just call her by her name. Zaya, all this time. Don't show up now and try to put a halt to what we've been doing all this time.
Right.
But that's another whole segue. We won't go there. Back to Nick Cannon. So I think it's just a good thing, I guess, just to have it in writing moving forward. So we don't, if should something arise, we don't have to.
She has control.
Yeah.
That's true.
So my question to you is, if you were in that situation, if you were the Mariah Carey of it all, and you had the first set of kids, and then y'all break up, divorce, whatever, and then he moves on and has all of these tribes of kids, do you feel like you have a responsibility to, I guess, allow time or space or coordinate your children and the other children getting together or whatever have you?
Nope. No.
Oh, okay.
In that situation, so it's not like they were married, they have these 2 children, and then he went on to marry someone else and they have children. Then yes, I would attempt to do my best to coordinate that situation. You have 12 children across the United States with 6 different people. Like, you coordinate that on your time when you have them.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna take away time. And from what it seems like, if she has primary custody or she's trying to get primary custody, she has the children. Like, that shouldn't be her responsibility to take her time with her children to coordinate with Brittany, Alyssa.
You need me to pull up the family tree?
Yes, please do. That's not her responsibility. I feel like when he has the children, although technically, in my opinion, if he has all of these children, he should be trying to spend quality time when he does have them. But you decided to go out and have 12 kids. So that's your responsibility to coordinate and do all of that.
So you're not saying, it's not I don't want my kids to associate with the other kids. You just don't want to be the one to have to coordinate that schedule.
Correct.
But there's not an issue with your children in general just spending time or getting to know their other siblings.
No, I mean, they're those kids' siblings, so they should know them. But I don't think it's up to Mariah Carey. She is too busy prepping her voice for next Christmas. It's not her responsibility to take on this role of flying across the country to get with all of these other children that you've created and to coordinate with that. Because it wouldn't be coordinating with Nick. It's coordinating with that parent.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same wheelhouse where, like, yeah, baby daddy, you created all these tribes, so you either fly them all over or y'all meet in one central location. Like, I'm not coming across the country or wherever to have these play dates. But I do think that, I guess, it is important that they all know one another because they are siblings.
Yeah, I will never take that away. Like, yes,
Right.
I think they should know each other and they have the right to know each other, but don't put your responsibility now off on me.
So I'll throw this in there. What happens if, because we know, and not that I'm wishing anything bad on him or anything like that, but what happens if he should get sick, or heaven forbid he should pass away or something. So then he is no longer in the equation. Do you continue to?
Then yes, I think all of the mothers should then work together to make sure that the kids are seeing each other. But if he is alive and well, obviously he is alive and well because he just had a baby, then I still think that's his responsibility. But if he were no longer living, knock on wood, if he was no longer living, then yes, I think that they should all coordinate parent-wise. Mothers should coordinate to get the kids together.
So do you think that it's important, or that she should even try to form some type of relationship, friendship, or just be cordial with the other baby mamas at this point?
Cordial, yes. Because obviously at some point, if her twins are going with Nick, who knows which house they may end up at. So yes, I do think that she should know that person. Well, bring up the list. What are their names?
So yes, we have, one moment, so we have Mariah is baby mama number 1. And then Brittany is baby mama number 2. And then we have Abby De La Rosa. That is baby mama number, is that 3? And then he moved on to Alyssa.
Well, we can't say moved on to, because
I'm saying numbers, some of them he did double back. Yes. Yeah, he did double back. So then you have Alyssa, and then you have Bree, and then Lanisha, I think is how you say her name.
Okay, so I do think that so let's take it off of Mariah Carey. I think that any of the parent or mothers should attempt to be cordial, because again, if your child is going with him, spending time, again, I would hope that he's using that time to like have that one-on-one bond. But if he's using that time to take them to go visit other siblings, you would want to make sure that your child is safe. Mm-hmm. So then, yes, she should be cordial, but like y'all don't have to be every Sunday, hey girl, on the phone. Right. Like that doesn't need to happen. But I think there needs to be a level of respect, and you at least need to know who this person is. I mean, that's just like in an everyday relationship. Let's just say you and your husband got divorced and he moved on and is with someone else. No, you don't have to be friends with that new person, but you need to know who that person is, and have some level of communication.
Well, I'm gonna be petty because my kids ain't gonna be allowed. It's like, no. No, just kidding.
You need to have some level of communication with that person to know what kind of person that you're, turning your child over. I'm not gonna take this to the left of like all the horror stories of things that go on when your child is with step parents and all of that. So we're not going to go down that road. But yes, the long answer is yes, she should try to be cordial.
So for me, and I think I touched on it the last time we talked about it, like I have so many different angles that I see and analyze this whole thing from, and being the product of,
she said it, y'all, not me. What did you
call
yourself?
Say it because I am being a product of the Ghetto twin.
So for the folks out there who don't know, please elaborate on what a Ghetto twin is.
So my father was a Rolling Stone, and he has several sets of children.
Okay.
All of which we all come, and I say sets because we all kind of come in sets. We're all within like a couple months of each other. So my Ghetto twin, that's him and I are the same age. His birthday is July. I'm August.
Okay.
But yes, there are several sets of us.
So for the people who didn't catch that, a Ghetto twin is when you have a sibling and you share a father. And
I guess it would just be a father.
You share a father, and your birthdays are real close, and y'all the same age, but y'all got different mothers.
Yes. There are several different factors at work here for me. And as Mariah, I don't want to call her like the innocent victim in this or any of that. But she was the wife and the first, so she didn't sign up for this shenanigans,
the foolishness
that he decided to create.
Can we pause for 1 second? I wonder what that conversation is. Like, what's the conversation that you are? I wish we had a big screen. We could put the chart on a big screen.
Right.
Because he has kids like 1 and 2. I'm just 1 and 2 with one woman, but then he has number 4 with this woman over here, but then circles back and has number 5 with the person that he has like the second and third.
Right. And it's kind of my family dynamic. Like, several of those sets are like back and forth between the same 2 women, and then there are other women in the dynamic as well. I guess fortunately for me, growing up, most of the baby mamas, all except for one, I believe, got along. I don't know if that was always the case, but by the time I was old enough to remember what was going on or whatever, my mom and at least 2 of the other moms got along. So my other siblings would come over our house and spend time or whatever, spend the night, that whole thing. And we aren't as close as the typical brother sisters that that you would grow up in the same household are.
Yeah.
But we still get together, we still talk. There's no ill will or hard feelings or whatever.
Yeah.
All except for one, like our youngest brother, he's really distant. And oddly enough, his mother was the only one that didn't get along with the rest of the tribe.
But I think that kind of lays the foundation, though. Like, for example, I have a younger brother and a younger sister on my father's side, and I don't see them really or talk to them very much. But we didn't, like, when we were younger, we didn't, like, I didn't go. I can probably remember, like, vividly one time going. Like, to their mother's house, or like they never come to my house when I was little. So I think that sets the foundation for like what that relationship will be.
Right.
And not that there's any like hard feelings like between the 4 of us, because I have a sister with my mother and then I have the 2 with my father. Like, there's no issue there.
Right.
It's just that was not the foundation that was laid to have this adult. Because my sister on my father's side, she's an adult. She's in her 20s. So to have that relationship, it wasn't started off that way.
Right. So, I mean, and then, like, it kind of made me, that's why I asked the last question about Nick Cannon. Like, our dad passed away when I was in 6th grade when he passed. So, but because we already had that foundation where our moms already had relationships and we already, so it still kind of, as far as spending time with our siblings, with each other and stuff, nothing kind of changed there. We still did. I will say, though, as a child growing up, I feel like it had an effect on my brothers as well, but I can really only, I guess, speak from my experience. First of all, I didn't even realize, because like my mother never made it a thing, and like she never used the term half brother, half sister. Like, that is your brother, that is your sister. So it didn't. I was probably like 16 or 17, and I was talking to some friends in school, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're all the same age. Like, I kind of talked about it with pride.
Yeah.
Until I realized, like, hold on. And then when I got older and realized, like, wait, well, that meant Daddy was going over here and he was going over here, and it was all at the same time. Like, hold on. So as a female, a young lady growing up, I had a moment where I looked at my mother with a side eye, like, you was okay with him just rolling in and out like that? Like, what was going on with you, your self-confidence, your self-worth, to let this man...
You know what I'm about to say.
What?
You know what I'm about to say. Don't be talking about Miss G like that.
Don't call her that. For you all that don't know, my mom recently passed away. So I feel I can speak a little more, not, rolling her name through the mud or anything, because she was she will always be a saint. She was the sweetest thing. If you knew her, you instantly fall in love. Like, she could do no wrong. But I'm just saying that to say, like, it affected me, like, going into relationships and being able to trust a man or anybody, or be able to even want to date. Because then I was like, if this is what it is, I don't want no parts of it.
Right,
Like,
right,
I
right.
don't want that drama.
So and you don't have to answer, your mother ever have like an I don't want an explanation, but
Right.
like her side of the story for like what took place?
So, of course, I'm an 80s baby. I'm about to date myself. It's always that, like, when I try to have those adult conversations with my mother, or those woman to woman conversations with my mother, it was, well, those were different times then. Or, what he did when he wasn't with me was not my business or none of my concern, or stuff like that, which, I was very much I a woman, hear me roar, independent women, like that was like, girl, what? Are you crazy? Like, do you know what could have happened? Like,
Yeah.
but we do have to understand, like, yes, back then it was different times, and because how many back in the day, now when you go to Grandpa Willie's funeral, Grandpa Willie got a twin brother that didn't nobody know about, or something like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
back then, secret families wasn't a thing. Not that our family was secret. Like, my father did what he did and everybody knew about it. But then I feel like there was a space and time where women, came into their own, and that behavior wasn't acceptable. I feel like now I don't want to say reverting, or people are trying to make it more glamorous or okay than the mess that it is, and they try to glamorize, like, oh no, monogamy is just not a thing, it's just not natural, you just can't be monogamous. Or they try to, well, I'm a woman, I'm gonna use my power and know what it is, and as long as he's not lying to me about it, then it's fine. That is bullcrap to me. To me, sorry, that is bullcrap to me.
No, I would agree. I feel like, though, circling it kind of back to like Nick Cannon and all of his drama, I feel like a lot of the women outside of Mariah, because obviously she was the wife, all of that, the other 5, I feel like, get harsh treatment, I guess, a little bit. And they be tearing them ladies up in the comments. But I feel like a lot, like, it's a 50-50 thing. I think Nick Cannon has to take responsibility as well.
Yeah. Oh,
for making the decision. Hear him tell it. Like, this was a conscious decision to have all of these children. And a lot of the times you'll hear people in media, radio, whatever, talk about the fact that, oh, well, he has the money, so,
and that has nothing to do with it.
He can take care of 12 kids. And yes, obviously, no one is saying that you don't need money to take care of kids. However, on Christmas Day, you can only be at one household.
One house.
On Thanksgiving,
because after that last gift is open on Christmas morning, I don't care who else shows up, what time shows up. Like, if daddy is not there with mommy on Christmas morning, in my opinion, you weren't there when it mattered. Right. Like, you need to be here when I'm up.
Right. Or if 2 of the kids have a game on one, like, what do you choose? Where do you go?
Right.
And to my knowledge, they don't all live in the same state.
Right.
So I don't ever want to say anyone's, and I told y'all in episode 2, I'm about my business when it comes to people's parenting decisions. You have as many kids as you want, and that you can afford and that you can take care of. But when it comes to taking care of, you have to look at it in a full aspect, right? Not just financial.
Taking care of does not mean just
all of that,
just cashing a check. Right. It's so much more than that. Because and trust me, I started with the mamas, but I was going to move on to him too.
Yeah.
Because again, I feel like I can speak because I am a product of that environment. Like my dad, yes, Papa was a Rolling Stone, and no, he did not have Nick Cannon's money. He was great when he was there, but it was more times often than not that he couldn't be for whatever reason. And then even as an adult, when I do have those conversations with my other siblings, and they can share a story of a time that they were with our father, and I'm like, oh, I don't have those type of stories. it still does something to you as an adult.
Right. Right.
And I don't care what Nick Cannon tries to say or portray or whatever. If he has are any of the babies a girl?
Monroe.
Oh yeah, Monroe.
I think he does have girls.
So I don't care what he says. When those girls grow up and they say, "Oh, Dad, I've met a guy and I'm so in love, but he has 7 other children with 7 other women. We're gonna just all live in one big." He is not gonna want to hear that.
Right.
No man can look me in my face and tell me that they're okay with a dude knocking down their daughter and 7 other chicks on the side. Like, it's just not. You're not gonna want to hear that. That is, it's not okay.
Right. No, I agree.
It's just, and I don't think that it's fair to those children, for those adults, to make those type of decisions for them because they didn't ask for that.
That's just kind of like taking it off of Nick Cannon and the tribe. For like a woman who has a child or a couple who has a child, knowing that they can't, like, you already got 3 that you can't provide for, you can't get diapers for, you can't buy formula for, but then you go out and have another one. And it's like, I don't know if that was the best decision, sis. Like, and again, you do what you want when you can take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that anyone ever doesn't need any help, because we all need help.
Mm-hmm.
It's a village.
It takes a village.
However, when you're being irresponsible, knowing that you're not giving the best life to children that you already have, and then you go out and you continue to have more, then, or not on a financial aspect of it, you have a child with your no good baby daddy and he don't do nothing for the first one, and then you keep having them. It's,
oh Lord, we getting ready to go down a deep dark rabbit hole here.
It makes you give them a side eye.
let's not get canceled before we even get started.
Oh no, we don't want to do that.
But that is a thing, and it is a hot button topic. Is it what they say?
I think so.
Yeah, that could be another whole episode. But yeah, it's a whole lot that can be said about that whole Nick Cannon. And I don't want to just keep calling it a Nick Cannon situation. Like, it is so many of those situations that have been happening for so many years. Of course, he's
just the
celebrity that's doing it, and it is what it is. And I feel like him putting his stamp of approval on it is oh, now it's a thing. We can put a label on it. No, that's men slinging D, and I'm trying to find a PC term for, and women accepting it and being okay with it. And I kind of feel like it may even be a way of a meal ticket for them. I hate to put that label on them, but you also can't tell me that some broke Joe off the street is going to go around to all of these women and do that and they be okay with it. It's just not a thing. And I don't think that it's fair for any of them to make those type of decisions for those children because they didn't ask for that. And taking care of a child is so much more than being able to write a check when needed, because they're not going to care. Oh, daddy paid my tuition this month. I love him. He loves me.
But
I needed to go pick out my first bra and I needed my dad there.
If we're thinking that, and not saying that it's accurate, but if we're thinking that it's a meal ticket, unfortunately, those parents, because it does not seem like he is present consistently across the board, those parents may teach them that, oh, as long as you get the financial from it, it's okay. And that's continuing the cycle of are they girlfriend, boyfriend? Or that, like,
right,
whatever the scenario is here, because it's okay.
Right. And okay, so taking it off of him, we can also talk about, because we also tapped on old baby daddies, i.e. Diddy. Having this new mystery baby out of the blue. Like,
I saw their Christmas pictures. They were all dressed in matching pajamas. How cute. The little baby.
so do we want to take a quick commercial break? And then
Yes,
we can
ma'am.
come back and talk about the geezer dads.
Sure.
All right, let's take a commercial break. We'll be right back. And we're back. Wine glasses are empty.
Sure is.
So now we could talk about old dads.
Go ahead.
Maybe I shouldn't have finished the wine. This is about to be okay. I'm pulled it together. We're gonna talk about old dads
All right.
and Diddy's and his tribe and how they too think that it looks cute out here in these streets.
Okay. So what you got?
So how do you feel about these old heads out here still trying to have babies and side girlfriends and everybody being one big happy family?
But is he in a relationship though? I mean, Carisha said they go together, but I don't think he said they go together.
No, I mean in his Diddy way. I think because there was like a clip or something of him like on Instagram. I'll keep my side comment to myself. Did you see on Instagram when he, I guess, felt some type of way about her, and I forgot what rapper it was. I want to say G Herbo, but I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if I even said his name right at this point. Like he felt like they were kind
in a
of,
relationship.
or maybe, well, and maybe that might have been the cheeky part of it all, but I think they were supposed to be like kind of flirtatious back and forth on her an interview that he did on her show.
Okay. As far as like the baby aspect of it, like I don't care. Like if you're 65 and you choose to have a baby, then I'm not saying that he's 65, but if that's how old you are and you choose to have a baby, then again, as I said earlier, as long as you are taking care of that baby, like it doesn't matter to me. Now, as far as the relationship aspect of it, I think their relationship, or if that's what we want to call it, is different than what Nick Cannon has going on because it's one person and it seems as though they have some sort of understanding. I think it seems that way. Mm-hmm. However, I do think if he feels like it's a one-sided agreement, he's too old for that.
Right. I feel like when it comes to Diddy, because that's not anything new with him, and he's kind of always done the same thing too. It was always, because I don't think he ever really like just dealt with one woman at a time.
Right.
If anything, he may only had one publicly, but I mean, just like he kept Cassie in the castle on the hill, but I feel like he also messed with Kim, and to openly say Kim was the love of his life, still, like, I feel like he still had that mentality where he comes and goes as he pleases, but y'all better not.
I wonder if, though, the situation with Kim was like a realization after she passed. Like, I wonder if, I don't pay much attention to Diddy.
Well,
sorry, Diddy.
Me either. And usually at this point, you usually only ever hear about him when he, i.e., has another baby or is messing with the latest and greatest.
And I'm just saying that, like, I've never experienced like the death of someone that I've loved or any of that in that way, like a romantic way. So I wonder if, because he seems pretty hurt by the entire situation. So I wonder if that was a realization that came because she passed. And it's like, oh, dang, I was spending so much time with Cassie and I should have or could have been with Kim because now that she's gone, that's, I never know what I'm saying. So you never miss something until it's gone or what have you.
Yeah. I just don't think that he operated like somebody that, again, because I know the behind the scenes of it. Or he to me always strikes me as one of the like the old head mentalities where I can come and go.
Moved on, gotten married, has 2 kids. She's living her best life.
Yes, congratulations to Cassie because she was young enough to do so.
But I think
after that old man done wasted her time.
A good point to make just about like if you're with someone and things aren't happening. Because, of course, for as long as they were together, you would have thought that they wouldn't have, in, I guess, traditional sense, they would have gotten engaged, gotten married, had kids. But that never happened. She immediately, soon after, met somebody, got married relatively quickly, and obviously he was what she needed, and moved on and is living her best life with her husband and her kids.
But I think a part of that is because she was so young, and that young mentality, and held out and hold on to that hope of, oh, he's gonna marry me one day, or we're gonna do this, where he never really had intentions on doing that.
Right. That's true.
And
that's true.
Because I believe that a man, like if a man meets a woman and he knows that he loves that woman and wants to be with her, like I don't think it's not going to take a man 10 years to figure out whether or not he wants to marry somebody. It shouldn't take anybody 10 years to
That's true.
figure out whether or not they want to marry somebody. Oh, that's another topic for another time. Like, how long is too long?
Production, jot that down, please.
Noted. But so no, I mean, again, a topic like that can go on forever, ever, and there's always a million different sides or views and ways that you could see it. But I don't think that you're too old to have it. I don't want it to be.
Well, let's reel that in a little bit.
Oh.
I think at some point you are. There is a too old, I think, just because you don't want to be. I'm just throwing out numbers. I've had wine. Please don't correct my math. You don't want to be 60 and your kid is going into elementary school.
Well, no.
Like, or you have a small baby. Like, because yes, in some cases, like as you get older, your patience gets better. But then if you get too old, that patience starts to take a turn the other way. So I do think that there is a thing of being too old to have children.
Okay.
Health-wise, but also just in the aspect of, circle back to earlier what we were saying, being an active parent in that child's life.
Right.
I do think there is a such thing as being old, or too old rather. But if you are of a good age, Janet Jackson had a child later, but she also lives a very different life than the average.
I was going to say, because I was going to talk about that too, like with the Halle Berrys of it all and the Janet Jacksons of it all.
They live,
but they're not
an opposite life.
An average person,
yes.
Right? They don't have to go and clock it into a 9 to 5 every day,
right? They have nannies that aren't their best friend's sister.
Let's see who's being petty now.
Should I sing my song?
Go ahead.
No, not gonna do it. But they have a whole another lifestyle than what the average person lives. So please don't take your baby advice from Janet Jackson or Halle Berry as to when you should have children.
Because it's not cute. Yeah, don't be up in the...
Speaking of, this is completely off topic, but because we're talking about, you mentioned work and all of that, we did get a listener request to do a deeper dive into our work from home parent dynamic episode. So we'll have that coming up soon.
Yes. I was going to say we can talk about that next episode. Want to do that? Okay.
Sure.
Cool.
So if you guys have anything that you want to hear, anything that you want us to talk about, any questions that you have for us, maybe we can do like a mailbag episode one of these days. Leave it in the comments and we'll read them.
Or in our DMs. No feet pic requests, please. Not unless you want to send a good Cash App along with it.
She said that, not me. Make sure you identify who that request is for. But no, really, if you have things that you want to hear us talk about, shows, topics, leave them in the comments. Manda and I will get together and make that happen for you all.
Yep.
Is that all we got for today?
I guess so. If y'all want to have a baby by an old man and his... Okay, I'm done.
All right,
need to
y'all.
dry. I need some
back
water.
Here each and every Monday. She needs water. See y'all back here each and every Monday for a new episode of The Safe Space. Bye.
Bye.